Hey, what's going on, Trojan family? Welcome to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. We are Los Angeles Sports. This is your daily dose of USC Trojans news. We are right about 24 hours away from kickoff USC Georgia Southern, the Clay Helton Bowl. Mr. Clay Helton returning to the Coliseum after what ended as not the best tenure and era in USC football lore, obviously. Really curious to see what the response is like. Me personally, I think we talked about this a bit on our live call-in show on Wednesday, but, I don't know if he necessarily deserves, praise, but I don't think he deserves to be booed. I think hopefully fans will react as just business as usual. This is an opponent that is a well undermatched and undermanned opponent that USC should handle basically by the first quarter. And so kind of treat it that way. And, Clay Helton did bring a Rose Bowl. And obviously we know how his tenure went down the stretch and whatnot. We've talked about it a bunch, so that's not why I'm on here today. But should be a fun game. I'll be out at the Collie. Hopefully we'll see a bunch of you. Would love to hear you guys comment where you guys tailgate. I'm sure a lot of you probably watch from afar, but a lot of you are here in LA, are at the games. Let me know where you tailgate. Would love to come pregame sometimes and say what's up and start putting names to faces behind these avatars on YouTube and Twitter and whatnot. So, drop where you what lot you're in, where your tailgate. Would love to come say hi. I'll try to do my best to get down there and say what's up. And maybe some game we can enjoy a nice cold one together or something. So, jumping on here, do a quick recruiting update. We got a extensive visitor list at the Coliseum. Another big visitor list with a lot of star players that will be here to watch this one. Plus, a Peyton Houston update, 2027 quarterback who the USC Trojans and Lincoln Riley really set their sights on in that 27 class. No commits have come through in the 27 class. Will Peyton Houston be the first? So we'll get into that. First, shout out to new title sponsor of the LAFB Network, Sleeper. I'm sure many of you have heard about it. You've heard me maybe promoting it now this week. Go download the Sleeper app in the App Store or Google Play. When you go to sign up and with your first deposit, make sure to use the promo code USC LAFB. You can see it right down there, if I can point correctly. USC LAFB, you're going to get a match deposit bonus up to $100. So if you deposit $25, they're going to match you $25. If you deposit $100, they're going to give you a free $100 to play with. Sleeper is the #1 sports app on the market right now. It's great for year-long fantasy. I have a bunch of fantasy leagues in there, but they also have breaking news. They game updates, score updates, live trackers. But one of the most fun thing is the pick'em they got on there, where you can pick players and choose more or less on certain statistics and win real money. So I'm looking right now at this USC game against, obviously, Georgia Southern. I had it obviously teed up, and of course, as what happens in the business, it refreshed. So let me find, here we go, 4 o'clock game, 4:30 game, excuse me. All right, so because this is a lower opponent, not as many player options to choose from, but Jaden Mayava, passing yards, 274.5. You can pick more or less. Gotta like the more on that, right? 295 last week against Missouri State. Only played a half. May only play a half again this week, but you gotta like your odds of going over 274.5. I would choose the more on that. Makai Lemon is going to be receiving yards, 79.5, more or less on that. He had 90 yards receiving, led the team last week. Interesting one. It's how much are they going to utilize the passing game in this? So that's where these can be kind of hard on these matchups. But Makai Lemon, more or less. And then Wayman Jordan, more or less 72.5 yards. I mean, got to smash the more on that, right? Wayman Jordan, more than 72.5. So I'd go more passing yards, more rushing yards, and I think I'll go more receiving yards for Makai Lemon. I mean, this is going to be an offensive juggernaut of a day. So, Sleeper app, make sure to download it. Use the promo code USC LAFB to get a match deposit up to $100. All right. So huge opportunity for recruits. I'll do this fairly quickly here. We got a bevy of players coming in from the state of California to watch this one. When you look at just the Trojans already committed in the 2026 class, you've got from IMG, Kenai Pepe and Brett Colajay will be in the house. They have traveled out for this one. I think they're on a bye week, so great to see them in the Collie. Luke Weaver, wide receiver out of Notre Dame here in Sherman Oaks. He'll be in the house. Vlad Diakonoff. Folsom is playing. Are they playing Mater Dei? No, they're playing Mission Viejo. Folsom's playing Mission Viejo down here in SoCal, so a great opportunity for Vlad Diakonoff to be here. Ryder Lyons, will he make a surprise visit? Obviously, teammates with Vlad. Obviously, now we know he's committed to BYU. Maybe he'll make a surprise appearance, though. Eason Tafa, offensive lineman. Talanoa Ely, Kakua, his high school, is playing Mater Dei. That's who's playing Mater Dei. So he's in SoCal and gets a chance to visit the Collie again. Great linebacker, and he had a great game. They played Bishop Gorman last week, and his team got beat fairly badly, but I think Ely had a great game, and you can see some of those intangibles that he has as a linebacker. We can't wait to get him on campus here at USC. Tamahui Tapui, basically has a dorm room already at USC. He'll be visiting Samote Katoanga out of Santa Margarita. The great edge will be visiting. Jake Johnson, defensive lineman, visiting. And Andrew Williams, edge, will also be visiting. So those are all your already committed guys that will be on campus. Obviously, I want to show love, show them the game day experience, keep their excitement level. Tons of excitement around this 2026 class, but you gotta keep that up, right? Obviously winning, obviously the off-the-field phone calls and communication, but getting these guys on campus as often as possible, having them build that camaraderie. We know there's a ton of guys last weekend at the game, now a ton of guys this weekend. In terms of non-commits, Taven Epps, 4-star edge, he's currently committed to Texas. He will be at the Collie tomorrow. And remember, as of now, USC has 3 remaining spots for their 26th class. They will be using the fall to evaluate and to look at who's still available, but also go after some potential flip candidates. Epps could be one of those guys. Now, USC's pretty stacked at the defensive line and edge position, but obviously Epps is a very talented player that they will certainly, obviously if they're having him visit, they're certainly going to look at the prospects of flipping him and getting him to commit to them before signing days. Quentin Hale, wide receiver, really talented, special kid. Right now, I'd say USC is in a really good spot for Quentin Hale, and that's looking good. Gavin Williams, safety, 4-star. Kingston Salifi, wide receiver, 4-star. And Eli Woodard, wide receiver, 3-star. Braylon Ross, a 3-star tight end. So those are your 2027 kids that will be here at the Collie. And then 2 2028 prospects, Jalen Flowers, a defensive back, and Chauncey Washington, another defensive back who, as many of you know, his father was a running back for USC back in the day. So a legacy there, as the Trojans have done a good job landing legacies as of late. So Chauncey Washington, obviously 2028, a ways down the road, but another potential there. So you also have, I won't read every single name, the Trillium Boys, which is one of those 7-on-7 teams. Obviously 7-on-7 camps are huge in college football recruiting right now. So a lot of that roster will, or I think the entire roster actually will be, and that includes a guy like Tevin Epps, who's, from Tustin, and he's in that team. So he will be one of those as well. Again, Texas commit. And I think Epps actually, I made a mistake. I think I had said he's a 26. I think he's actually a 27. So that is my fault. Let me fully confirm that. I want to make sure, not strain you guys at all. So many names, right? Tevin Epps, yes, is a 27. So that is, if you were listening just 2 minutes ago, not a 2026 recruit. He is committed to Texas, but he is actually a 2027. So, but he's with those Trillium Boys. You look at Quentin Hale's also a member of that. Juju Johnson, a cornerback from Long Beach Poly, Dante Wright, another cornerback from Long Beach Poly. He's a Georgia commit. Honor Faleve Johnson from Cathedral Catholic. Nico Bland, a wide receiver from Orange Lutheran. So, I mean, there's going to be a ton of great players. Grant Mosley, obviously the brother of Trent Mosley, who also is a receiver at Santa Margarita. Grant Mosley showing a ton of talent in this early season. And while Trent Mosley, the older brother, looks fantastic and he's going to be great for this Trojans team, Grant Mosley looks like, and he's only a sophomore, dude has a lot of talent as well. So those are the majority of the names. It's going to be a bunch of players there. Great to see, and hopefully watch the Trojans have a dominant performance at the Coliseum. All right, let's pivot now real quick. Wanted to talk, real quick, last sponsor, ZipRecruiter. Got to talk quickly about our friends at ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. You can try it for free if any of you are business owners like myself and you're looking for new employees. You can try it for free with this exclusive web address at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. And just, takes away the headache of hiring. Usually, as I said, you can find a candidate within the first day, which is massive and lets you focus on your business and not focus on finding quality candidates. So ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. All right. So let's talk a little Peyton Houston. So 2027 4-star quarterback from the state of Louisiana. He is the 8th ranked quarterback in the 2027 class, according to Rivals industry rankings. USC and Lincoln Riley kind of back in the spring. You remember I talked about this before, documented in a few articles. It was, they got Jonas Williams in the 2026 class. That was early in the process at the beginning of the year. There was still a lot of connection and hype surrounding Ryder Lyons, who obviously we know is a 2026 QB, but more so is 27 because he will be taking a year-long mission. So the thought was, great, Jonas Williams 26, get Ryder Lyons. Well, all of a sudden there was a pivot, and USC kind of went all in on Peyton Houston in the spring to be their 27. They kind of cooled on Ryder Lyons for whatever reason. I talked about the fact that he had a lot of visits, still wasn't committed, was still really toying around with Oregon and BYU. So USC kind of pivoted, went all in on Peyton Houston. Visited in the spring. His parents loved USC, loved Lincoln Riley. At that point, it felt like USC was really in the driver's seat. Then you get the commitment of Boobie Feaster, the great 4/5-star wide receiver from DeSoto, Texas. And him and Houston are childhood friends. And one of their dreams has been to play college ball together. So once Feaster committed, again, there's no guarantee, of course, but it felt even more likely that Houston would come to USC, kind of as a package deal, if you will. So things have looked good. No reason not to. Well, as of late, Oklahoma has started trending up for Peyton Houston. They've been pushing hard, obviously, to get his services a lot closer to home in terms of Oklahoma to Louisiana, the proximity there. He visited Oklahoma in June, so after his USC visit, and now he is scheduled to be there tomorrow for this huge game, Michigan against the Sooners. So it's starting to trend his way a little bit, or Oklahoma's way, I should say. Our good friend Scott Schrader, who's probably the guy I trust the most when it comes to recruiting in terms of USC intel, he's talking about he is going to be putting in not a crystal ball, but a recruiting kind of prediction shift to Oklahoma. Now, Peyton Houston is set to make his announcement on September 15th. Unfortunately, with that date, USC cannot get him back on campus for a game before that date. Obviously, a commitment is not set in stone. You can get him after and try to flip. But they'll be at Purdue next weekend, so they're out of the state, not at home. And then the 15th will come, and he'll announce his commitment, and then the next weekend they are home against Michigan State. So it's not a foregone conclusion. USC is still very much in the running, and even if he were to commit to Oklahoma, obviously this is the 2027 class. you have a year, essentially a year and a half before signing day. So a long time for a lot of things to happen. And, USC obviously building what they're building, and with the 26 class coming in even before that, there's a lot of momentum and things that can change, and a flip can certainly happen. The big question will be if Houston does indeed commit to Oklahoma, what does that mean for Boobie Feaster? Are they truly this somewhat of a package deal? A lot of the Oklahoma message boards and the Oklahoma insiders have talked about Oklahoma has been pushing hard to get Feaster on campus for the fall. We all know USC's protocol, like once you're committed, you got to shut it down. You can't take any more visits. We'll see if this sticks. Up until this point, Boobie Feaster himself and his father have shut down any rumors that they're taking visits. They're locked into USC. And everything I've heard, that is still the case. So nothing to report on any changes on that. But with Houston going tomorrow and announcing his commitment the next week, if that is Oklahoma, it will be really interesting to see how much more Oklahoma continues to push to get Feaster to visit, and if that leads to a potential decommitment. I'm not saying that will happen. There's been zero intel that that's even in the works, but just something to monitor as this plays out with Peyton Houston. So regardless, obviously, Lincoln Riley, I think, loves Peyton Houston, his play style. Still a super young quarterback, super talented. What USC has working against them is the youth they have in the quarterback room. I mean, 2027 is a long way away, but Peyton Houston still may not play until like 2030. When you think about Houston Longstreak potentially starting next year in 26 and in 27, then you have Jonas Williams probably starting in 28 and 29, and then Peyton Houston maybe not starting until 2030. So that, you have to think, goes into it when you look at the other teams vying for his services and the potential that they just have a lot less competition and a lot more open ground to start. Now, you obviously want these guys to compete and go to where they think they have the best opportunity to grow and develop, and whoever's on the roster shouldn't deviate that, but it certainly is going to go into your thought process if there's just more opportunity for you to play earlier. So just something to think about. LSU is another school that has been mentioned that is not out of this by any means. They're the hometown school. However, they are really in and really linked to their current QB, Garrett Nussmeier. His brother, Colton Nussmeier, is also in the 2027 class, so it would be the same class, and they seem to be very highly linked to potentially landing that. So we'll see. I'll probably jump on here in another, before the 15th to see if I've received any intel. I've put out a couple feelers for people I know and kind of what they're hearing and seeing in this situation. No 27 commits yet for USC. That's been, I think, planned. They're kind of waiting and letting guys feel it out, especially guys that do want to take visits. I mean, it's so far away. It's hard to tell a guy like, hey, once you commit, that's it, when you've got like a year and a half to kind of enjoy the recruitment process. So if you're USC, you almost want to tell guys like, hey, we want you, but we understand. Go take visits now, and then once you're ready to commit, like lock in, and that's it. Let's move on. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. But that's kind of the latest recruiting update. But hey, we'll be at the Call-In tomorrow. Georgia Southern, cannot wait to see you all out there. Thank you as always for making this show a part of your viewing and a part of your day. And let's go get a big win tomorrow and move to 2-0 and, start conference play next week. I'm Ryan Dyrud. As always, fight on.